When you come over the Great Salt Range, suddenly a wonderful view opens up. The Jhelum River, the first of the 5 great rivers of the Punjab, and beyond the plains of India stretching away as far as the Ganges itself, the heartland of Indian civilization. For the Greek troops and their leadership, it must have been an extraordinary moment after all the thousands of miles that they'd travelled. And from now on, they'd be marching into the unknown. Across the Jhelum, the local Indian Raja, Porus, had massed a powerful army with 200 war elephants. He was determined to stop Alexander crossing. Somehow, Alexander had to get his forces over in secret. The Greeks said he did it where a spur of the Salt Range comes down to the river plain to form a headland. I went looking for it at the little village of Jalalpur. And there, I met the general.
General Shafkat.
How are
Michael
you?
Wood.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Very nice to meet you. And what a wonderful place this is.
General Shafkat's family owns the shrine here. A veteran of latter-day campaigns, he'd lectured on Alexander at Staff College, and he'd got it all worked out.
Where he attacked from, and the battlefield is right in front of you.
This is the battlefield right here.
Across the river.
Why are you so sure?
Well, if you go through the Greek historians, they mention there's a headland from the main range of the hills. And this is the only place where we have the headland, and we're standing right on top of that one. And on the far side, according to the historian, there was a ravine where he hid his cavalry and other forces during the day and the night, and crossed it across to the island, which still exists. And this, as a matter of fact, out of this whole range of hills, this is the only place where he could have crossed.
Wonderful.
The general offered to show us how Alexander did it.
They're bringing pump poles over there, aren't they? Yeah. There's another boat.
Alexander's plan was to hold Porus in front of him and then to cross higher upstream, a flanking move repeated through history down to the Napoleonic Wars and Desert Storm.
Now, that is a classic movement of encircling or outflanking move, where you have either both flanks or the center lean across the enemy's major force and attract their attention. And show as if they were going to cross, or keep them amused in general terms, and go around and on a flanking movement and hit him either on the flank or at the back. Well, Napoleon tried it again and again. Austerlitz is one of the most classical examples.
We took a small force of cavalry in the boats. Our infantry crossed on bales of straw, just as the Greeks did. According to the historian Arrian, Alexander also had some prefabricated boats.
Alexander went in a 30-oared boat, so they've got quite a number of them. Yeah, they could probably take a lot of troops. But the cavalry, he says, came across on rafts that they'd made and prepared beforehand, stuffed with.
They must be with planks on top, stuffed with straw, local brush and things. But we make them in a different manner, only to take the infantry across, not the horses.
What, you still use them in the
We
army
do,
in our
yes,
time?
yes, we do. During World War II, Irrawaddy and Burma campaign, most of the troops always crossed on these rafts.
Amazing. Good.
The general decided I was so woefully ignorant of military matters, I should get first-hand experience of what Alexander's men went through.
With this kind of stuff.
This has been going on on the Burma front during World War II.
Yeah.
Most of the crossings were done on this thing, at night.
Yeah.
Alexander had done it before, of course, but remember, this time it was at night, pitch dark, pouring rain and rising floodwaters.
Is that far enough?
Alexander used tents made of sewn animal skins, which were watertight. We had an old tarpaulin, and just before we reached the deep channel,
should have gone first, the middle one, and the two others climb simultaneously on both sides. Otherwise, you will tilt it and get water abroad.
The battle took place near the little village of Sikandarpur. Surrounded and surprised, Porus had little chance against one of the hardest armies which has ever existed. It was a horrible scene, the rain, the churned up rice paddies, the Macedonians jabbing their long spears into the elephants' eyes. The elephants were maddened by their suffering, says Arrian, trampling friend and foe alike. Porus's army was wiped out and he surrendered. But Alexander was so impressed by his bravery that he gave him his kingdom back, and Porus became his ally.